A dramatic confrontation unfolded in the Senate Judiciary Committee as Senator Cory Booker directly challenged FBI Director Kash Patel in what became one of the most heated oversight hearings in recent memory. The exchange escalated from pointed questions about personnel decisions to accusations of political retribution and ultimately ended with both men raising their voices in a tense standoff. This wasn't just another routine oversight hearing. It represented a fundamental clash over the direction of America's premier law enforcement agency and raised serious questions about political loyalty versus constitutional duty. Senator Booker's closing statement that he believes Patel won't last long in his position sent shockwaves through the hearing room. What exactly happened during this explosive exchange, and what does it mean for the future of the FBI? Senator Booker opened his questioning by revisiting a critical issue from Patel's confirmation hearing. He asked whether Patel had discussions with the White House about removing FBI officials and installing political personnel before his confirmation. Patel's response was carefully worded, stating he had discussions about the type of people who would be employed and those failing to meet the mark. When Booker suggested this mark had to do with loyalty to the Trump administration, Patel flatly responded that Booker was wrong. This exchange set the tone for what would become an increasingly contentious hearing. The question of whether political considerations played a role in personnel decisions at the FBI goes to the heart of the agency's independence and credibility. The hearing took a significant turn when Booker questioned Patel about his grand jury testimony in the Mar-a-Lago classified documents case. Booker pointed out that while Patel had told Senator Whitehouse his grand jury testimony was publicly released, it actually had not been. A court denied a news outlet's request for the transcript in July. However, the court made clear that Patel was free to discuss his testimony. When Booker asked directly whether Patel testified that President Trump had declassified the documents at issue, Patel refused to give a straightforward answer. Instead, he said he had worked with the department to have the transcript released and that it was the best evidence of what he said. This evasion frustrated Booker, who pressed that this was germane to Patel's integrity and credibility. Booker emphasized a crucial legal point that many viewers might miss. Under Rule 6 of the Federal Rules of Criminal Procedure, a grand jury witness is not barred from sharing their own testimony. This means Patel could answer the question directly without any legal impediment. When Patel continued to deflect, Booker became more insistent, calling it a mockery of the hearing. The senator's frustration was palpable as he pointed out that Patel knew right now whether or not he testified about Trump declassifying documents. The exchange highlighted a pattern that would continue throughout the hearing, with Patel often questioning the premise of questions rather than providing direct answers. This tactic, while legally cautious, appeared evasive to committee members seeking transparency and accountability. Senator Booker then confronted Patel with statements made during his nomination hearing. Patel had promised that all FBI employees would be protected against political retribution. He explicitly stated under oath that he was not aware of any plans to punish FBI agents associated with criminal investigations of Donald Trump. Booker stated bluntly that he did not believe Patel was truthful. The senator pointed to a new lawsuit filed by 3 FBI officials alleging that Patel carried out Trump's campaign of retribution against FBI employees for failure to demonstrate sufficient political loyalty. Booker emphasized that firing FBI employees based solely on their case assignments is illegal. This accusation struck at the core of Patel's credibility and raised fundamental questions about whether the FBI was being transformed from an independent law enforcement agency into a politically loyal organization. Booker focused specifically on Brian Driscoll, one of the plaintiffs in the lawsuit against Patel. Driscoll served the FBI with distinction for 20 years, earning a Medal of Valor and Shield of Bravery awards. He served as special agent in charge of the FBI's Newark field office, operating with distinction in that role. Patel terminated Driscoll via a letter dated October 8, 2025. The termination letter stated it was pursuant to Article 2 of the Constitution. Booker seized on this point, noting that Patel is not the President of the United States. He questioned under what authority Patel was allowed to terminate Driscoll. Patel responded that the matter was under litigation and he could not discuss it, a response that only deepened concerns about the legitimacy of these personnel actions. The questioning then turned to Patel's relationship with Stephen Miller, a senior White House advisor known for his hardline immigration policies. When asked if he had discussions with Miller about firing Driscoll specifically, Patel said he did not recall. Booker pressed on how often Patel speaks with Miller. Patel acknowledged speaking frequently with Miller about Homeland Security task forces. When Booker asked if Miller had given opinions on how to run the FBI, Patel emphasized that Miller's interagency operations were invaluable to the FBI's work. The exchange revealed close coordination between the FBI director and White House political advisors. This relationship raised questions about the appropriate boundaries between political leadership and law enforcement independence, a foundational principle of American democratic governance. Senator Booker highlighted a startling historical fact. For the first time in FBI history, neither the director nor the deputy director have any prior experience with the FBI. This represents a complete break from the tradition of promoting experienced agents into leadership positions. Booker argued that Patel has pushed out senior FBI agents with decades of knowledge and experience, creating a dangerous vacuum of institutional expertise. The senator's concern centered on whether the FBI could effectively fulfill its mission when led by individuals without deep understanding of its operations, culture, and investigative methodologies. This criticism went beyond partisan politics to question whether the fundamental competence of the organization was being compromised. The loss of institutional knowledge in any large organization can take years or decades to recover. Booker presented data showing that the FBI has shifted its priorities primarily to pursuing the Trump administration's immigration enforcement agenda. According to ICE data analyzed by the Cato Institute, a conservative think tank, 25% of all FBI agents have been diverted from their core work to assist with immigration enforcement. This represents a massive reallocation of resources from traditional FBI priorities like counterterrorism, counterintelligence, organized crime, public corruption, and crimes against children. Booker described mass enforcement operations where law enforcement officers jump out of cars and snatch people off streets at churches, schools, jobs, and hospitals. He asked directly whether FBI agents who investigated crimes against children, foreign domestic terrorism, human trafficking, or Russian oligarchs have been reassigned to immigration enforcement. Patel did not directly deny these reassignments. When Patel finally had the opportunity to respond to Booker's criticisms, he became defensive and combative. He challenged what he called Booker's rant of false information, arguing it did not bring the country together. Patel referenced Booker's social media posts, suggesting the senator himself was contributing to division. This response marked a significant escalation in tone. Rather than addressing the substantive concerns Booker raised about FBI operations, personnel decisions, and resource allocation, Patel chose to attack Booker's character and motives. The exchange devolved into both men talking over each other, with Booker declaring he was not afraid of Patel. The chairman had to intervene multiple times to restore order. This breakdown in decorum reflected the deep tensions underlying the substantive policy disputes being debated. After the heated exchange, Patel presented a detailed defense of the FBI's operational record under his leadership. He cited impressive statistics, including 23,000 violent felons arrested this year, representing a 200% increase from the same period last year. The FBI seized 6,000 weapons, found and arrested 1,500 child predators, identified 4,700 endangered children, and put 300 human traffickers in jail. On drug enforcement, Patel highlighted seizures of 1,600 kilograms of fentanyl, enough to kill a third of the American public, representing a 25% increase from last year. He also cited 88,000 kilograms of cocaine seized and 700 kilograms of methamphetamine. These numbers painted a picture of an agency achieving significant operational successes despite the turmoil in its leadership and personnel. Patel continued his defense by highlighting counterintelligence successes. He stated that counterintelligence arrests already this year exceeded the numbers from the entirety of last year. Specifically, he cited a 33% increase in cases related to the People's Republic of China, an 83% increase in Russia-related cases, and a 60% increase in the counterintelligence space related to Iran. These statistics addressed one of Booker's key criticisms about the FBI abandoning its counterintelligence mission. Patel argued that the data proved the opposite, that the FBI was actually more effective at countering foreign intelligence threats under his leadership. However, critics might question whether these increases reflect actual improvements in performance or simply changes in how cases are counted and categorized. This confrontation between Senator Booker and Director Patel represents more than just a personal clash or partisan disagreement. It reflects fundamental questions about the proper role of the FBI in American democracy. Should the FBI maintain strict independence from political influence, or should it be more responsive to the policy priorities of the elected administration? How much coordination between the FBI director and White House political advisors is appropriate? When does personnel management become political retribution? These questions have no easy answers, but they are critical to maintaining public trust in law enforcement. The FBI's legitimacy depends on the perception that it enforces laws fairly and without political bias. When that perception erodes, it undermines the rule of law itself and threatens the foundations of democratic governance. Senator Booker concluded with a stark warning that may prove prophetic. He predicted this might be Patel's last oversight hearing because despite Patel's efforts to supplicate himself to Trump's will, Trump has shown in both his first and current terms that he is not loyal to people like Patel. Booker suggested Trump will cut Patel loose when it becomes politically convenient. This prediction reflects a pattern observed with previous Trump appointees who fell out of favor despite their initial loyalty. Booker ended by saying he would pray for Patel to step up, defend his oath, defend the Constitution, and do a better job of defending the country. This combination of harsh criticism and expressed hope for redemption captured the complex emotions surrounding this controversy over the future direction of American law enforcement. The heated exchange between Senator Cory Booker and FBI Director Kash Patel revealed deep divisions over the direction of America's premier law enforcement agency. Booker's accusations of political retribution, resource misallocation, and lack of transparency were met with Patel's defensive posture and impressive operational statistics. The confrontation raised fundamental questions about FBI independence, political loyalty, and institutional integrity. Whether Patel survives in his position, as Booker predicted he would not, remains to be seen. What is clear is that this debate over the proper role and leadership of the FBI will continue to be a flashpoint in American politics. The stakes could not be higher as the FBI's credibility and effectiveness are essential to national security and the rule of law.